It's time to get your morning started with the news you need to know.
News update.
This is what's trending with DJ and PK. Hashtag NFL.
I sit here today and I go back and forth with, man, am I going to let Cleveland off the hook and just like let it go? Or am I going to sit here with hate and animosity in my heart for the rest of my life? And I finally sit here today and I'm like, I think I'm going to be pissed at them and hate them forever. So it is what it is, what it is, man. No love for the Browns. I'm rooting for 0-16 seasons every season.
Johnny Manziel isn't letting Cleveland off the hook, and he doesn't realize the teams are playing 17 games. But other than that, he's still bitter and getting laughs. Thank you. Steelers defensive end Cameron Hayward won't be held back despite his limited participation in training camp and the preseason, according to head coach Mike Tomlin. Hayward's been holding in. He wants to renegotiate his current deal. Tomlin said he expects Hayward to be ready on Sunday. Making too much money to hold out, PK. They'll have to change the language in those contracts if they want him to practice when they want their new deals.
It was holding in. Now you just said holding out.
Mm-hmm. They don't hold out anymore. They hold in. I show up, I'm here, you can't find me, but I'm not practicing.
Oh. That sounds like a holdout to me. I wouldn't. I hate changing words when the meaning is still the same. It's just, anybody who does that, I'm going to carry a grudge against them for the rest of my life.
Had a kid. Go Johnny Manziel on him. Micah Parsons' agent, David Mulligetta, appeared on ESPN's First Take and said Parsons would not have set out tomorrow's opener against the Cowboys had he not been traded to the Packers. Said Parsons' preference all along was to remain in Dallas with a new deal. Well, he's a Packer now, and their Super Bowl expectations have increased greatly.
Mm-hmm.
Tampa Bay Buccaneers signed their right tackle Luke Goedeke to a 4-year, $90 million contract extension with $50 million guaranteed. He's a second-round draft pick from 2022, and he's hit it big, starting 31 games already.
Yeah, he's the best.
Jackson Dart, backup quarterback to Russell Wilson. He wins the number 2 job over Jameis Winston. He'll be number 3 as the Giants put out their depth chart. Figured by midseason he'll be starting, or maybe a little later.
Oh, I don't know. Why, you think Russell Wilson's no good?
I think if the Giants don't pile up some wins quickly, they'll try the younger guy. I think Russell Wilson is okay at this point in his career. Whether he has enough around him to win in New York, I would doubt it, but I guess time will tell.
Then how would Jackson Dart have enough around him to win in New York?
I don't think he will, but it'll be start getting the young guy experience and get ready to move on and build up.
The coaching staff cares about getting him experience when they'll be gone?
Nope.
So who's making the decision?
Well, if they don't win enough, the coaching staff will be gone. Or they'll be ordered to do it by the front office.
They'll be ordered?
Ordered by the front office and or ownership.
Okay.
We'll see. DJ and PK.
Hashtag college football.
That is a physical group. It is a very smart quarterback. They're going to be a problem. And they got some explosive dudes. And it was a hell of a game down to the last play, right out of the gate. It's like getting the final exam day one of class. They made a 65, we made a 58. Neither one of us were great.
We dominated him in the second half. So he's either a really good grader for, giving himself a 58, or he's a really hard grader on us, or he didn't see the second half, which that might be the case. He might not have wanted to see the second half.
Dabo Swinney, Brian Kelly, their Monday media availabilities or Tuesday media availabilities, their different analysis of their big showdown. LSU coming back to win that game 17-10. You enjoy that, or was that blah, blah, blah?
I didn't understand it. He didn't see the second half, or he didn't want to see it? What? I don't know. What does that mean?
We dominated them, and I think Swinney I think that Brian Kelly thinks his LSU team is much better than
Was the score like 17-10?
17-10 final.
And they dominated?
14-0 in the second half. They were down 10-3 at the half.
So they scored a touchdown in each quarter?
Yes.
I'm trying to figure out where the domination is.
The fact that they got shut out in the second half and got outscored 14-0. That would be Brian Kelly's version of domination.
And then I had Deshaun Foster said he looked at the film and we were close.
Yep. People see what they want to see. Spin it afterwards. Utah moves up to number 25 in the new AP Top 25 poll, up 2 spots. BYU, the very next team in the AP poll, right where they were, top team without cracking the top 25, others receiving votes. Meanwhile, in the coaches poll, BYU dropped from 23 to 25. Utah is the next team just outside in that poll.
Such blatant disrespect for the Cougars.
Don't you think it's blatant disrespect for the Big 12? This is the 4th best league, and I mean, UCLA, I think the voters are just saying, yeah, every ranked team is going to go in there and destroy UCLA.
You've determined that the national media doesn't like the Big 12,
yes.
So I'm not going to be able to move you off that. So
Okay.
you don't ever need to ask me that, because no matter what I say, you're not going to like it.
Florida State just jumped about 25 spots.
I think they beat a team that's a little bit
Yeah.
higher profile. I'm not sure about that. You'd have to check. But I mean, it's pointless for you to ask me if I think the Big 12 is under-respected, because you clearly do, and there's nothing that I can say is going to change your mind.
Ohio State's a new top-ranked team, while Texas fell to number 7. Alabama dropped to number 21 in the AP poll after getting hammered by Florida State. A pair of Vanderbilt football players among 10 athletes suing the NCAA to force the association to allow college athletes to compete for 5 seasons rather than 4. The lawsuit's a class action suit filed yesterday in federal court, claims the NCAA's eligibility rules violate antitrust law. They want 1 more year of NIL. Oklahoma coach Brent Venables said he's impressed with Michigan's freshman starter Bryce Underwood and compared the Wolverines quarterback to former Clemson star national champ Trevor Lawrence. He's a little different. It does remind me a lot of Trevor Lawrence. Quick, decisive, accurate, poised, tough, consistent. There's a reason he's the number 1 player in America. And he's got a maturity and a work ethic and leadership agility to go along with that. You ever hear of leadership agility?
I don't know what that means.
Yeah, I don't either. That's an unusual combination. DJ and PK.
Hashtag Major League Baseball.
High fly ball. Altuve back on the track, looking up. See ya! A grand slam for Grisham. His magical season continues. It's 6-0 Yanks.
2-0 pitch. Swing and a high fly ball. Left center field and deep. Friedel in a jog, and Springer has done it again. 2-homer game for George Springer. His 2-run shot gets the Blue Jays to 10 runs. They lead it 10-6.
The pitch. Swinging a high fly ball to left. Going back a Rosarena. This is 40. Junior Caminero becomes just the 2nd player in the history of the Tampa Bay Rays with a 40 home run season.
And the Rays beat the Mariners 6-5. That's 40 home runs and 100 ribbies for Junior Caminero. In the age of analytics, do people care about ribbies much anymore?
Sure, why not? I do. I don't. I can't answer if some guy from MIT does.
You heard the Yankees are up 6-0. They went on to beat the Astros 7-1. So tightens things up in the American League West race there with the well, actually keeps it the same actually because the Mariners lose and the Astros get beat. Also in there, you heard the Blue Jays. They beat the Reds 12-9. Had that big lead and they hold on. Now rookie right-handed pitcher Nolan McLean has set a Mets record. He has got a 4-0 start to his career. Mets beat the Tigers 12-5. Every once in a while, rookie sensation comes along and changes the game plan in the postseason. You like his odds? Assuming
Absolutely.
they get there?
100%.
Rafael Devers' first inning shot, 2-run homer, sparks a benches-clearing incident. Saw Colorado Rockies pitcher Kyle Freeland and Giants third baseman Matt Chapman tossed. Willie Adames also tossed for a roll in the fracas. Devers finally rounded the bases nearly 30 minutes after he hit the home run.
Freeland was upset out of the baseline.
Yeah, Freeland, he could have. Freeland was upset because he stayed in that batter's box too long and admired that home run.
Yeah, he was kind of. I thought he was getting his balance a little bit.
Because he was tipping over backwards the way he swung?
Yeah, you know, and he pulled it right down the line, and I didn't understand I mean, I know that they do that if you take too long. It's just It's always going to be that, unless it's really, really big. It wouldn't be like if he struck him out, if Freeland had struck him out, he wouldn't have started moonwalking or something in the first inning. You know, there's very few home runs in the first inning that are that big of a deal when you still got 20-some outs to go. It's gotten a little bit better later on. If you hit a big one, you can do a little more of a dance. But I thought it looked like he was trying to get his balance a little bit, but if the pitcher thinks he's being shown up, he's going to go after you every time.
And Kyle Freeland did. Dodgers beaten by the Pirates 9-7. Shohei Ohtani hit his 100th home run as a Dodger in the loss. And the hardest home run he's ever hit. They had the exit velo on it.
Is it 120?
Yeah, something like that. Got out in a hurry. Dodgers, though, maintain a 2.5-game lead in the National League West because the Orioles beat the Padres 6-2. San Diego 2-7 in their last 9 games. Dodgers still with a 2.5-game lead. Not playing great, but they still got the top spot. The Bees grabbed a 6-0 lead and then blew it and lost to El Paso 11-9. Game 2 tonight in the series. First pitch 7 o'clock. Tony Parks will be on the air at 6:50 here on The Zone. DJ and PK.
Hashtag NHL.
The NHL and the NHL Players Association have agreed to expedite a playoff salary cap and changes the long-term injured reserve rules for the 25-26 season. Salary cap rules for the playoffs address an ongoing concern for some players and GMs where teams were using long-term injured reserve rules to stack their playoff rosters that would have been well over the regular season upper salary cap limit. So now they've got a new deal. The Utah Mammoth announced their rookie camp roster, and they'll take part in practices in a showcase event next week. The rookie camp will be the first official event held at the team's new practice facility in Sandy. That's what's trending. It's brought to you by Shamrock Plumbing. There's no job too big or too small. Get the personal touch with Shamrock Plumbing. Coming up, Riley Jensen's going to be here at 8 o'clock. What do you think of the quarterbacks in the opener? What do you think of the Utes, Cougars, and Aggies in the opener? We will talk with him and look ahead to Week 2. And also join us to look ahead to Week 2, Troy Clardy, Stanford Cardinal play-by-play broadcaster, will join us and get us ready for BYU and Stanford. It's also a Win Tickets Wednesday. We're going to be giving away tickets to see the Utah State Fair. We'll do that coming up in the 8 o'clock hour, so get ready for that. DJ and PK. It's 97.5 The Zone. Hot takes or toast. Question of the day coming up next.
It's game week for the Aggies, and the KSL Sports Zone is getting you ready for kickoff. It's the Aggies versus the Aggies this Saturday as Utah State hits the road for a battle against Texas A&M. Listen all week long for the best coverage of Aggie football. Then catch all the play-by-play action, beginning with the Aggie pregame show this Saturday morning at 9:30. Your exclusive home for Aggie football is live on air, online, and on the KSL Sports app. This is 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Nominate the youth sports volunteer that you know for the Hercules Hero of the Week. Submit your nomination at KSLSports.com/contest and listen every Thursday afternoon to JJ and Alex for the winner. Help us celebrate the efforts of those volunteers making an impact with the Hercules Hero of the Week. And it's sponsored by Hercules First Federal Credit Union and Beehive Meals.
It is time now for Hot Takes or Toast. Question everyone is debating on our Facebook page, DJ and PK. Join the debate right there. Utah's getting all the love, but what about BYU?
Oh, they about to find out.
Who said that?
Coach Satake.
Carter says, well, BYU should have scored 80-plus on Portland State. Maybe they would have been ranked then.
Such blatant disrespect.
Justin says, love me some BYU football, but you are not going to move up in the national polls playing Portland State. Beating UCLA and LA, much more important of a game there. But also, Cal Poly's not going to move the needle for the Utes next week, so, give and take.
We'll see.
Justin shrugging it all off in August and September.
I'm not so sure about that.
Larry says 2 5-7 teams played in L.A. One team has improved, the other not so much. On the other hand, 11-2 team played at home against far lesser competition, doing what was expected. Winning large. Nothing to see here.
You're talking about nothing to see here. That doesn't make any sense. There was plenty to see. Freshman quarterback coming out there. I mean, it's a new quarterback. And Utah, the fact is, gets more national love than BYU. I think that's a fact.
It has been a fact, but do you think it will be a fact going forward?
It's a fact right now. We're talking today. We're not talking tomorrow. We're talking today. We're talking
today,
right
aren't
now.
they getting about the same amount of love? I mean, the polls just came out, and they're 25-26-1, and exactly reversed in the other.
No, man. You just look at some of this national stuff that's on social media, and
they're getting way more buzz there.
Well, then that's what I'm talking about.
But that's because they just played UCLA and they played Portland State. You don't think BYU will be talked about when they beat a Power 4 team?
They were barely talked about last year. Mm-hmm. They did more than enough to be in consideration for playoffs.
And they were not.
And if Utah had done the same, there's no doubt in my mind they would have had more buzz for a possible playoff bid. I think there's no question about that. So I stand by my statement that Utah gets more love. Now, you could say they've earned it. I've got no problem with that. Yeah.
Well, Utah certainly got a lot more for all the Pac-12 title games and the 2 Rose Bowls, and BYU as an independent couldn't create that kind of interest, late in the season when everybody's getting all fired up with their hot takes.
Well,
as an independent, their schedule always lightened up. Yeah, they could have if they'd gone undefeated. Yeah. But their schedule always lightened up, and people never talked about them as the season got
because they weren't good enough.
Interesting.
It wasn't a schedule thing. It was team talent.
They had double-digit win seasons. They had a couple of them as independent. But I think being in a Power 4 league, they got a chance now to play bigger games in November, and that's really and later, and that's really when you shape people's opinion of your program. I mean, it's cool to start fast, but
well, yeah, but
it's more important to win big games in November and December.
Oh, I think there's 12 of them, and they all add up the same. That's a Majerus line. Tell me one that gives me 2 wins for one game, and then I'll consider that a big game. So I think they all add up. You're sitting there at 4-5, and you have a big win in November. Whoop-de-freaking-do. It's on the other team that lost, not you.
Right, but the Utes had big wins beating USC and Oregon in the Pac-12 title game, and it changes their rep nationally.
You said that wins are bigger at the end of the season. I think they all count the same. Now, a postseason's another story. I mean, they beat Oregon and SC in the postseason. So, I mean, obviously the postseason is much bigger than the regular season in any sport throughout the history of time.
It's the way it is.
Yes.
All of our interest gets locked in then.
Yeah, that's the peak, the postseason.
And as an independent, BYU couldn't play those games. Now they've got a chance to change that. I mean, if tiebreaker didn't work out for them last year, but get back after it this year.
I think they did have a chance. They just weren't good enough.
Beat Kansas.
No,
or
I think
ASU.
As an independent, they were afforded the opportunity if they were good enough, but they weren't good enough.
Yeah. That was a pretty narrow window to hit, and you're right. They weren't good enough to hit it. I mean, as an independent, they had to get to 11 or 1 or 12.
They have to do what Notre Dame does.
Yeah.
And they weren't good enough. Now, I think the reason why they weren't good enough was because they were independent. So we're chasing the tail
here, right?
But
because that lowered their ability to compete in recruiting in that era.
There's just zero question on that.
But now they get to recruit to the Big 12, and that's giving them a boost. And
they got money.
We'll see if they can cash in on it. Yeah, and money in this era.
They've got everything
changing.
They need now to be on a national stage. They've got to go ahead and earn it. The thing about it is, as I see it, is they've got to go earn it in the manner that Utah earned it. But Utah does get more national love than BYU does right now. I don't think there's any doubt. But BYU, they're about to find out.
Vernon says Utah needs the love after last year's complete disaster. BYU will be there soon.
Who don't need love?
They are starting a true freshman quarterback, and once the national pundits get their eyeballs fixed on this awesome freshman, they will start to see the Cougars, the Tiger, the Bear, and say, oh my.
The Grizzly Bear? All right, they may say that in a few weeks. Get a load of Grizz. And he's just a freshman.
Maybe they're on the brink, on the cusp of a childhood
dream. You need
dream.
to pick up this. You need to pick up the Grizz, because then he gets going. The Grizz is. And it's endless possibilities. The Grizz is.
You talk about my knack for business, but your knack for marketing should not be underestimated.
I'm giving them free
I hear you, man. I hear you.
Publicity.
Yes. You need the hook. You need the results.
I mean, his parents thought they were being clever with the different animal names, but no, you need a nickname. See, that's the problem. They gave him the nickname to start. Now, what do we call him? We're going to call him Mike?
Hey, Mike.
Right?
Got the steak. PK's delivering the sizzle, people. Make it happen.
They backwarded it. You know, you have a nickname based off the name, but they gave him the nickname first. So he just can't be called Bear. He's the Grizz. He's the Grizzly Bear. I just have it.
You've delivered a lot of...
Big thing on the Wasatch up by the Y, you have this big grizzly standing on all fours.
Right, I see it. This is the sizzle with the steak. I get it.
Yeah.
I see where you're going.
It's there for them.
There's a chance if they run with this nickname, and if Bear performs, I mean, it's on him. But there's a chance that this could challenge Jay Slow as the best nickname you've ever given. I believe of all the quality nicknames you've come up with, that is the top.
But you told me yesterday that it wouldn't stick. Now, 24 hours later, it has a chance. Didn't he say that yesterday? Yeah,
I didn't think it would, but I'm hearing it more. I'm starting to warm to it.
No, I'm not questioning.
No credit yesterday, but I'm all in today.
I'm warming to it. I totally admit it.
That's fine.
And it could be our studio, because our studio is 11 degrees warmer today, and that might be a factor. It might be clouding my judgment.
No, you can change your mind or you can progress. I don't have any problem with that.
Yep.
I mean, you think about something. We make so many snap judgments. Now you've had 24 hours. You've contemplated it. You've slept on it. You prayed about it.
I've ponderized
and you've got all those things in there. Yeah, and here we are.
I get nothing for that. I thought you'd like that.
Yeah. You're talking to Yock, not me.
Yeah. Ponderized.
I meant the audience.
I happen to be looking at him. Just a little disappointed. Sorry, I had to share that.
No, I know you pretend. I understand.
Exactly. Thank
you.
you.
I've helped you in that category.
Thank goodness.
I've built you up.
I've needed as much help as possible.
I mean, yeah. People think, and it's largely because of me. And you think I put you down. No, I built you up. You're one of them.
Where does Sniggledorf go on the list of nicknames?
It's not a nickname.
Sure, okay.
I've looked. You can look it up. The nickname would be Sniggy.
That's obviously what I meant.
Yeah.
He says recovering.
So, I mean, he needs a nickname. He already has a name, but you don't go by that name. So, the Grizz is. The Grizz is great. G-I-G. Just call him Gig.
That's nicknames built on top of nicknames.
Grizz is great.
I'm going to need another day to warm up the gig. Check back with me tomorrow. Slow your roll over there.
They will start to get some run.
Jay posts on our Facebook page with the question of the day. The youth's getting all this love. How about the Cougs? Jay says, you know what, guys? I'm so happy football is back. Makes Saturdays really long. I love college football, the Mammoths, the Jazz. Maybe it's not great anymore. So go Utes and Cougars, let's rock it.
Okay.
Jay sees them ranked 25th and 26th, one outside, and wants them to jet up the polls together to a massive October showdown.
Oh, I want that too.
Right.
Thanks. There's no question I want that. Yeah. I'll be the first to admit. That's the best case scenario. Absolutely. I want them both in there, soaring.
Logan says BYU beat a high school team. If the Cougars do well going forward, they will get in the top 25 as well. And they are in the coaches poll, but obviously not the media poll.
Yeah, but I think it's more than just this poll.
You want the talk.
Yeah.
You want the social media. You want the quotes that are pulled out of whatever podcast, radio, TV show, wherever pundits, ex-players, and ex-coaches hang out and talk about teams.
Like Joel Klatt.
There it is.
Love Utah more than he does.
True story. He does give the Utes a lot of respect, and he has over multiple seasons. And he doesn't wait for the conference title game. You will hear him week 3, week 5, week 9, whatever.
Right.
Now, he is a Western guy. He's Colorado-based, right? He's got the roots. He's got the roots. So maybe he's paying a little more attention to this side of the country.
Okay, but
and
BYU.
He works for Fox.
We're on this side of the country.
He works for Fox, so you would think that there's a guy who could be paying attention to BYU very quickly.
I don't think he does.
He certainly didn't. I don't remember him saying that much about him last year, which was, the first time they were really relevant in the Big 12. And
I don't think BYU got the run
out of last year's that Utah would have gotten if they'd had the exact same record last year. I can see that.
Right.
But opinions change slowly, and I think it comes back to that the Utes were building up a national profile certainly by 2018, but you could argue that it was already building before that. Even though they weren't in the conference title game, they started winning.
A national profile for 40 years.
Yeah, I know, but it feels like the pause button got hit during the independent years.
Yeah, but that doesn't matter because
they're in the Big 12 now. It's their third year, and they're coming off double digits.
That's one, but that's not the point I was making.
Oh.
That the independent time, if you take big picture, is just a blip.
Mm-hmm.
And so you look at Michigan can have down years. Alabama can have down years. SC has had several lapses.
Yes.
But yet when they get good, it all comes rushing back.
Yes. Agreed.
Well, it didn't happen for BYU. And it wasn't like they were absolute garbage in the independent run either, as you just told us.
They had 8-win seasons.
But I don't think that they've gotten the respect that the program has earned over a larger period. Utah's period is smaller, granted, and impressive, and everything that they've gotten has been earned. This is not a slight against Utah by any stretch. It's that BYU brought in so much credibility, and then if you believe certain people, particularly coming out of Provo, the Pac-12 had a religious bias against them, although they had no problem scheduling them for every possible non-conference game they could get with them because they brought in more people. These are facts. I have the 2 LA schools telling me the exact same thing. Well, wait a second, SC played, and the other guy, well, we need to get them on the schedule. Oh, no, it was the other way around. The Bruins had them on the schedule, and then SC saying, well, man, your attendance is 67,000. You don't normally get that in September. Oh, it's because we played these guys, and all them people showed up. Well, then we got to get them on the schedule. But they wouldn't let them in, right? So the point is that we get that at the time they had no choice but to go independent because staying in the Mountain West would have been worse because the money was crap, the exposure was miserable. So, yeah, you didn't get an opportunity to be all conference, but the advantages far outweighed the disadvantages. And then over time, it sort of ran its course. But you would think that, all right, now that they're back and in their second season they go 11-2, that the glory would come back and you'd bridge that gap the way other programs, their downtimes, it's bridged over once they get better. But it hasn't happened. And last year was a classic example. The Cougars are simply disrespected.
Not feeling the love.
No. And I hurt for them. They deserve more.
Does anybody on this side of the country get that bounce back ability beyond USC?
Oregon.
I mean, Oregon hasn't really been that far down, although with Helfrich they did have one or two really bad seasons. Yeah, they had 1 or 2 really bad seasons.
But it doesn't. No one even talks about it. And then they had Charlie Strong and these guys. They went through a slew of coaches, but it's no big deal. And Lanning, you think he'd invented football.
Stanford and Washington don't really get that break. They've had their times.
Not at the elite level.
Yeah. Whereas Florida State and Alabama do. And maybe it's just a local regional bias built in. Be on that side of the country, there's way more people paying attention. Because Florida State gets a huge bounce for beating Alabama, which, as you pointed out yesterday, was that great win. I mean, everybody's beating Alabama now. They're 5-5 in their last 10. Vandy's beating them. Why shouldn't Florida State? But Florida State, huge bounce, tons of love. Everybody talking about, they're back. Now, they were winning big in a power league 2 years ago. And BYU, 2 years ago was just getting into a power league. So there is a little bit of apples and oranges there, but I do think most of the teams, when you talk about the bounce-back ability and the brand just gets, I don't know what it is, it gets refreshed by one 10-win season. It mostly happens to teams on the other side of the country.
But everything happens to most of it because there's way more teams on that side of the country.
Way more teams and way more people to love those teams and watch those teams. And BYU will come out and probably have a great game at some point this year, but it'll finish at 2 a.m. on the East Coast.
Yeah, but
but Utah's played games at 2 a.m. on the East Coast, and they get love.
The folks who are paid to follow it
should be following it.
I don't include them
they should
in that.
They should
I'm
be
not
following
John and Mary in Knoxville. I don't really care what they think.
They should be following it, and that should lead to these pull-out quotes you're talking about on Tuesday.
Yeah, and yet we don't have it. But the good news, they about to find out. And once you start taking the linking verbs out of the sentence, you get way more street cred. It's like you just show up with a body full of tats. And you got the neck tat, you got everything going. Once you eliminate the linking verb, then you got all sorts of street cred among the brothers, the sisters, the Caucasians, you name it. You got street cred. And so that's why Kalani's saying they about to find out. That's better than
they are about to.
No, that's
linking verb, sign of weakness. That's really the headline this morning.
If you want street cred, eliminate them. Don't do that. That's the way you need to talk. Because then, ooh, man, that's football talk. That's hat on hat right there. There's nothing better than hat on hat. You got two hats going at it.
Tony says,
repeat after me. They don't know. They don't know. They're about to find out.
Right. That's what I'm talking about. That would be way less motivating than they are about to find out. No. Karl Malone was ahead of his time.
Turns out. Trendsetter. Tony says week 1. Who cares? Talk to me in mid-November.
No, you don't have mid-November without the success now. We've just said that with BYU. For years, they didn't have any buzz in November because they didn't have the success in September. Have the success in September, and then the success grows. It gets bigger. And November becomes even bigger. That's the last thing you want in college football is to have a meaningless November.
True story.
Right.
That's no fun. That's when the hype should be growing. The games are bigger. A lot to play for, a lot at stake.
Yeah.
Meaningless November, that just screams trouble.
Right.
Or possibly independence. Because it was weird, because they could have a meaningless November and yet have an 8 or 9 win team.
Well, I don't know. They would go 9 wins, 9-3.
Kalani's first year.
3 losses to?
Kalani's first year, I thought they went 9-4, and I can't remember bowl game and all that. It all runs together after a while, so I don't know what they were after 12. But when I was thinking 9 wins, I think Kalani's first year.
Yeah, I think they won the Poinsettia Bowl. So 8-4,
and the last
8-4 is okay, but it doesn't get you the buzz,
right? Especially if you're not playing big games in November, and I have to go back and look at their November that year. But even more recently in 21, when they had a double-digit win season, didn't they cap that by going down to the Coliseum and beating USC? They're down to like their 4th running back, injuries happening all over the place, and they were able to grind out a win. But that was an SC team going nowhere, so that didn't resonate nationally. It didn't lead to, like you're talking about, 5 quotes from 5 different big national voices.
Well, they had nowhere to go. their bowl was established before the season.
Yeah, and there's no conference title.
Where are you going to end up? You're going
Right.
to end up in the New Year's Day Bowl. You're going to end up in a non-New Year's Day, but pretty good. Back when non-New Year's Day bowls used to be pretty good, but no, they were already assigned.
Nothing to debate there in any of
the bowl.
Yeah, nothing to debate in any of the debate shows.
Right. So there wasn't necessarily anything to play for beyond winning the game, and that's what creates the buzz in November. Is you're playing for something that goes potentially beyond winning the actual game that's in front of you.
Mark says you guys are comparing Pac-12 to Independence. Just a couple of years ago, BYU ran through the Pac-12 in one of Utah's Rose Bowl loss seasons, including a win against Utah. Yeah, that would be the season, the 21 season, I think, ended with double-digit wins and ended with them winning Thanksgiving weekend at the Coliseum.
But I look back at last year. I don't need to go
Why
back
didn't they get more juice for last
Yeah.
year?
Whereas if it was Utah, they would have been saying
they would have at least, even if they hadn't gotten in, they would have at least gotten talked about.
Yeah, there would
they
be
would have at least been
conversation.
up on a graphic, and then somebody would have said, "Nobody wants to see Utah." That was Mr. SEC, wasn't it?
Yeah, that's just as somebody who's paid exclusively to follow that particular area. But that's an unusual situation.
He will talk up the SEC nonstop and dismiss everyone else.
I don't know how much influence he has. I mean, he's running out there telling us Arch Manning is all that, and Arch Manning looked crappy.
Did not look like all that.
So he basically is the sports version of MSNBC and Fox. You don't really take him seriously.
See ESPN and Fox when it comes to college football, but I get your point. Yeah.
He's not going he's not going to discuss the issues. He has an agenda.
He's not going to convince anyone. He's going to,
Yeah.
speak.
I mean, for the life of me, I don't know why anybody watches those shows.
You know what's coming.
They completely have an agenda. Yeah. And it's the same thing over and over and over again. It never stops. And that's with him. So I think he doesn't have as much credibility as he would like to. Certainly on this side of the country. He's preaching to the choir back over there.
Yep. And I can't imagine that they're loving him in Ohio, Michigan, Pennsylvania.
Yeah, do they really pay attention?
No, I think that they think he's downgrading our teams, whether it's Michigan, Ohio State, or Penn State, whatever. He's downgrading our teams, and he loves himself some Alabama. And now, when you can't say much about Alabama, he'll either start talking about him or he'll start talking about how expensive a coaching change would be. The buyout's massive at this point.
It is a situation where it's like the hometown broadcasters. When I listen to the hometown broadcasters and they start complaining about the refs, well, of course they do. That meant the call went against you. Not that it was a good or bad call. It's just that it went against you, therefore it's a bad call.
Brian says if BYU does to Stanford what Utah did to UCLA, the Cougars will probably crack the top 25. Of course, depending on the outcome of games of the teams immediately ranked in front of them. Utah, no matter how dominant they look against Cal Poly, will probably not move up much. I said this to several BYU fans who are overly excited about the Portland State win. A win against an FCS team doesn't matter to the voters, no matter how dominant, but a loss will kill your season. BYU did what they were supposed to, nothing more, nothing less. The votes confirm that.
Oh, I think they did more than what they were supposed to.
If they'd have won 42-7, that would have been good enough. But 69-0 and pulling starters at halftime.
Yeah, that was impressive.
DJ PK, it's 97.5 The Zone. Riley Jensen talking football, top of the hour. What do you think of the quarterback performances you saw week one? We'll talk with him in about 15 minutes right here on The Zone.
It's game week for the Cougars, and the KSL Sports Zone is getting you ready for kickoff. It's back-to-back home games for the Cougars to start the season as BYU welcomes Stanford to LaBelle Edwards Stadium this Saturday. Listen all week long for the best coverage of Cougar football and your chance to win tickets to the game. Then catch college football Saturday game day at 10 a.m. with the post-game show immediately following the game on KSLSports.com. Your home for the best coverage of BYU football is live on air, online, and on the KSL Sports app. This is 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
The artist of the day today is Andrew McMahon, lead singer of Something Corporate, and Jack's Mannequin, celebrating his 43rd birthday. Brought to you by Live Nation. For all live concerts and events in 2025, check out livenation.com.
How about this one? I just saw this. A.J. McCarron. Remember him?
A.J. McCarron, Alabama quarterback from relatively early in Nick Saban's run. Maybe, 2012, 2014.
But not that long ago.
No, 2012, 2014, whatever.
And this is why I think BYU has a chance to really be a force. He's on some show, McCready Siskey. It's a podcast. It's an Alabama-based podcast. You look at these other teams that have 40 to 50 million in NIL. Alabama, and I know this for a fact, talking to multiple people in the program, has less than 20 million in their NIL. And we had heard that Alabama is not a big money state in the manner of a lot of people making a lot of money.
Do you have your oil money? No. Do you have
big time money?
Do you have major corporate money? No. Do you have major tech money? No.
Right.
I mean, they're not checking any boxes here.
Right. And this was predicted, and I can recall speaking to BYU people in the last 3 to 4 years. When this thing hits, we can really get it together. And I think that's a high reason on the priority list that our guy Kevin Young took the job. Because he knew.
He received assurances. This is what your NIL budget, this is the neighborhood your NIL budget's going to be in.
He knew what was out there.
Right.
And I mean, gosh, I sat next to him eating food. And it was sort of an off-the-record conversation. So,
but as you talk, you get an idea of his confidence.
So he knew that was available. Combined, there's 3 things, I think. Big 12, obviously. Basketball, you're not going to get better. As good as it gets in college.
The Big 12 now has a whole run of seasons where they're either the best league or the second best league.
It's why foreign kids want to come over and play in that league. I mean, Joe Ingles talked about if he had gone to college, Baylor was probably it. Right? He said that to us multiple times. Now, he chose to go to professional ranks when he was a teenager, but they knew. So you got it. You know it about it in Russia.
You know it about it in Australia.
Yeah. So it speaks for itself.
That pretty much covers both sides of the globe.
Right.
Yes.
So that's one. 2 is, as he said, this is Kevin Young's own words. When he goes to the airport in Salt Lake and drives to Provo, he said he passes 10 tech companies that he knows are BYU fans. Mm-hmm. The founders, the bosses, the CEOs, whatever you call them, they are BYU people. And thirdly, which I think that you needed this too, is you needed the folks that have the power and authority at BYU to sign off on it. And those 3 all came to pass.
That third thing, to summarize that, you're going to ask Pablo about this. Tell him what's going on.
He knew about BYU?
He will summarize it for you, and this is his word. He hits it over and over. Alignment.
Yeah.
Alignment. And whether it's church leaders downtown Salt Lake, campus leadership in Provo,
and everybody, whoever they
campus leadership in Provo, major donors, all aligned.
And I had a great conversation. Tony Jones works for The Athletic, and he's been a staple in this community for 17 years. I was surprised it was that long. But anyway, he's moving back to Philadelphia. He's going to live in Jersey, of course, because I told him, I said, all the big money people in Philly live in South Jersey. He said, oh, yeah, I know.
I could totally see him saying that.
So he has experience in the area, right? So they had a going away get together, right? You went, I went.
Yeah.
And
it was a good turnout. There were a lot of people there.
Right. Oh, yeah. It was like a media party, basically. Yeah. And I'm talking to guys like Aaron Falk, a sports editor of the Tribune. He's been a writer there, great writer, great journalist, right?
And a good guy.
And I've known these guys for years.
Right.
And we're talking about how...
Well, Aaron and Tony, I mean, they went through the ranks in a way. I don't know that a business works that way, but they did high schools.
Yeah.
They followed in Jay Drew's footsteps and were on the prep beat.
Well, that's the way it was when I went. Now it's
a little different
because
jobs
veterans
turn over
are getting
faster,
out.
and veterans get out and jobs
so
turn over
younger
faster.
people are able
But
to
Tony,
get bigger beats earlier.
That night, Tony talked about Tony leaving Salt Lake and driving to Delta for a Juan Diego Delta game when they were both 9-0, and there was deer all over the road, and he got to the game pretty rattled.
Oh, I can imagine.
It was funny.
Yeah.
He laughed about it.
And we're talking about BYU and the money that's available, and how a lot of them, the BYU storyline is, well, we're not going to be the highest bidder. And then, of course, we're sitting there in unison saying, they don't need to apologize for that. Whether it is or it isn't, don't worry about it. Nobody cares except you. You're worried about the image that you're creating, but the rest of us are saying, way to go.
These are the rules.
Yeah, have at it, man.
Yeah.
And most of the fans, 99% of the fans are saying, yeah.
If you go out there with half or two-thirds of the money of other elite teams, what happens is what happened to Alabama against Florida State.
Yeah. And so we could see this change with BYU. This is who they are. Kevin Young and DeBonsa will come and go, but will be replaced by others of the same ilk.
How quickly will they get the respect that Utah gets based on what happened? Basically, I mean, they got in 2011, but it's since 2015 when they started, competing in the conference. 2018 when they started getting the title game, and 21 when they started getting to the Rose Bowl.
I think 2 to 3 years.
Yeah, 2 to 3 years.
Because if Grizz is who we think he is, and Grizz is.
By the time he's a junior.
And then, what's the other kid's name? Lyons. He comes back. He's throwing for like 500 yards a game, and they take him out in the middle of the second quarter. So he comes back from his abbreviated mission, which I'm not making any judgment on it. He can do whatever he wants. I don't care. I support him either way. He comes back, and he's as good as advertised. Yeah, it's on.
DJ PK, Riley Jensen, college football expert, former Utah State quarterback. What do you think of the quarterback play he saw from Bachmeier and Dampier and Barnes? We'll talk with him next. Stay with us.